everyone. Today we are here to talk a little bit about debit and credit, one of your JA Finance Park units. And this particular lesson is about banking partners. So I've got a guest with me today. We'll just talk through some things that may be relevant to you, especially as you get started on banking for yourself as a teenager and a young adult. So would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Zane Martin, and I'm a Middle Tennessean. Went to high school here in Middle Tennessee, a little south of Nashville, and I've been in banking almost 16 years now. I started off initially as a loan officer and then a branch manager. Some of y'all that are probably in the Williamson-Davidson County area, I probably was your parents' bank manager at one time if you worked with this one institution. And then I went into the private client field, which helped manage affluent clients' money, and now I'm in commercial banking, which helps commercial businesses do their banking.
Great. Students, we're going to get into a couple of questions here, but before we do that, make sure that you've got your My Bank Organizer worksheet. Your teacher will either give that to you in a hard copy, or you might have a fillable PDF if you're doing school remotely right now. So let's go ahead and just jump into a couple of questions. So who would you say uses financial institutions?
I would say everyone. I mean, a lot of people start off at a young age, mom and dad, grandma and granddad bringing you in to open up a savings account. But really, anybody who earns money or needs their money protected, because at the end of the day, if you have a little brother or sister and you're hiding your money and you don't have it in a savings account, next thing you know, it might be under their mattress. So I think everybody does. I think a good time to start is when you're 14, 15, going to have a savings account or something like that, and when you're 18, having a checking account.
All right, Zane, so why do you think it's important for students to know about financial institutions? What are some of the things they might go to a financial institution for help with?
So a lot of times, whether it's a checking or savings account, credit card, I mean, at some point in your lives, you might or might not get married, you might or might not have a mortgage. Banks offer those. Also, if you have a job, instead of having to go get a check on Friday at 5 o'clock and the bank's closed, you can have that direct deposited and not have to wait till Monday to get your money. So there's a lot of things. Banks are FDIC insured by the government, so your money is safe. It's just a way that you can keep your money safe and secure.
That direct deposit is really
yes.
helpful.
Yes.
That's true. How do financial institutions earn a profit? How do they actually make money?
So in simplistic terms, you give financial institutions money and you earn interest on that money in a savings or checking account. If you're at a good bank, hopefully they pay you some interest. And then what they do is they leverage that money and we lend that money to other people, whether it's auto loans, mortgages, just loans for other equipment, business loans. We take that, and then that spread that we make on the money that's at the bank and how we leverage is how we make that money. And then, of course, there's fee income, which you do not want any part of because that's usually overdraft fee income. So you always want to make sure you're keeping track of what you're putting in the bank and then also what you're spending.
Good. Where, physically, location-wise, do financial institutions offer these kinds of services? Where can students go to actually get that help?
That is a great question. 20 years ago, you would say a bank branch, but now you have online banks, you have local banks, you have national banks, you have credit unions. So there's a multiple range of places where you can just put your money, where you can get money, borrow money from people, get credit cards. I think the biggest thing is, especially for the younger generation now, is to get online and look at these sites and compare banks and their benefits and the costs, because there's just so many options.
Great. What are one or two tips you would give to students, just thinking about security? Obviously, financial institutions are a great secure place for students to save money, to earn a little money with interest, to keep it secure. But what are just some good habits or practices they can do to make sure that they protect that, even with their banking partnerships?
Yeah, I think one thing that I think the younger generation, they don't realize, it's good to have a banking relationship with your local banker. If you have a local banker, whether it's a national bank that's down the street your parents have been with, or a community bank, every once in a while you might be on vacation, you might spend a little bit more money than you have in your bank account, and knowing those people, you can go ask for forgiveness on an overdraft fee or anything like that. And also just knowing that there's different options. You could have your primary checking account with a local bank that offers, a relationship where you know that person can walk in and out of the bank, and then you might have a savings account that's with one of these online banks that has a higher interest rate and no fees. So I think the main thing is just knowing your banker and knowing your bank account situation.
Thanks so much for visiting with us today.
Absolutely.
Students, hopefully you've gotten a little bit out of this, and as you dive deeper into learning more about financial institutions, hopefully you feel a bit more confident as you go forward and save for your future.